Hi, and welcome to episode 15 of Anniversary Edition. Today, we're going to be talking about The Mummy, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. As always, obviously, we're going to be talking about the film and spoiling it. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it first and then come and listen to the podcast. So I'm Sophie, and I'm here today with...
Adam. Hello.
Hello.
And Tom.
Hey, Tom.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm all right.
Awesome.
Good to know. So this is a 1999 action movie. Librarian, her brother, and an American journey to Hamunaptra, City of the Dead, where Evelyn accidentally awakens High Priest Imhotep. And together they need to find a way to save the world and send the mummy back to the underworld. Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Sums it up in greater detail than I was expecting, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, I wrote that myself, thanks.
That's a good synopsis.
I'll take that. So when did you guys first see this movie? Tom, when did you first see it?
So I knew that I'd seen one of the Mummy films in the cinema.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain it was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Because I was waiting for a scene to happen and it didn't happen. I was like, well, I know that was in it when I saw it in the cinema.
Right.
And the story was different. So...
That'll do it, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the one I saw in the cinema. I am pretty sure I had seen this one before I'd seen the second one.
Okay.
So it was probably rented and watched round a mate's house, I think.
Okay. Around about the time you reckon it came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would have been sort of 20-ish.
Okay.
So I think it would have been one of those kind of like, go around your mate's house, bunch of you, get a movie.
Yeah. Adam, how about you?
I feel like I watched this in the cinema. I may be wrong,
Okay.
but I feel like I did. Did I watch this in the cinema? I loved it.
Okay.
And generally, if I really, really loved a film from that era, I probably saw it in the cinema.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because you saw it in the cinema?
Ooh.
It helped,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay.
There's my answer to that. I don't know.
Just
I think
not
I saw it in the
sure.
cinema. But why would I see it? Who knows?
Who knows? Okay. Well, I think I saw this in the cinema, like you, although I feel like I'm a little bit more confident in my answer than you seem to be.
I'm 50-50.
You're confident. You're confident in your I think.
Yes, my I think is
I
confident.
saw it as a teenager around the time it came out.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That helps.
That helps. So I'm pretty sure I saw this in the cinema. Loved it the first time I saw it, whenever that was. And yeah, bought it on, I think, VHS and then DVD and watched it loads subsequently. So, okay, a little bit of an overview, testing the waters. Adam, I'm pretty sure you like this movie, given that you just said you love it.
Oh, did I say that already?
Oh,
Damn
maybe.
it! I was planning on burying that lead, but instead my mouth ran away with me. Yeah, I think The Mummy's brilliant. I think it's great fun.
Amazing. Tom?
I think it's all right.
Okay.
It's a serviceable action, fun movie.
Serviceable?
Yeah.
In that it delivers everything you could want.
Yeah, literally ever want from an action movie. Well,
it's
a family.
all right. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just not blown away by it particularly.
Okay.
I don't think it's one of those things that I didn't get fed up watching it, or like.
Okay.
You saw the sequel in the cinema, so you must have felt like The Mummy was pretty, high in
like
merit.
entertaining.
I think it was a case of all my mates wanted to go and see the second one, and I kind of tagged along.
Aww.
It was that was a terrible night because I lost my phone in the cinema that night, and they wouldn't let me back in to look for it.
What?
Oh, they wouldn't even let you back in. Oh,
You
that's
had
not
a
cool,
phone
is it?
in 1999?
Well, it was the sequel, but of course it did.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
2001 then.
yeah. I had a phone I got my first phone in '98 when I was 18.
Wow.
It was a Nokia.
They
Which
made
one?
Nokia's
I can't remember.
pre-3210.
It was pre-3210.
So it was the little one with the aerial.
No, it was bigger than a 3210, and it did have an aerial.
Welcome back
It
to
had-
phone chat.
I have a feeling it might have been the first one that had Snake on it.
Oh,
damn.
God, Snake was so good.
And the one
to snake chat.
the one I lost in the cinema was a really cool little Ericsson one that had a little flip down thing.
Oh, my sister had a phone like that, little silver, like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a great little phone. Yeah. Sad times. So that's kind of like my overriding memory of
So this
the
is
Mummy.
why Tom
Like,
isn't so hot on the Mummy, because it cost him a phone,
He lost his
and
phone.
he's still angry.
but that was just the sequel. Even the first one, I
Much
think,
like the plot of the Mummy, years and years have gone by, and Tom's still pissed.
won't let it go. I think for me, it's I sit and watch it, and like it's entertaining enough. I do kind of sit there thinking it's not quite as charismatic as an Indiana Jones film. I
think
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
think
at all. I kind of feel
Brendan
like
Fraser. This is like his role.
Oh,
And
absolutely
up to
it
this
is.
Yeah,
point,
completely.
he was pure comedy staple.
Yeah, it was
I don't
George
think
of the
he'd
Jungle.
done an action movie.
No, I don't think he had
He,
either.
did,
Up
he
to
did
that
George of the
point,
Jungle, and
yeah.
they were like, "We're going to give him this because he
Give
can
him an
handle
action
it."
film.
Yeah.
And he does it admirably.
Yeah, he
he's
does.
great.
I'm just always kind of like what
I
I'm
can see
supposed.
Harrison Ford in the role. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. for
What
sure.
I want to get from this film, I get from an Indiana Jones,
But you don't get it.
but I don't
From
quite
this.
get it from this because I'm always kind of like, I just feel like Indiana Jones does this sort of thing a bit better.
Okay.
And that's not to say that this is bad or that I don't like it. I just I'm whelmed by it.
Just whelmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see this as like, I'm not considering every film, I'm sure, but I see this as the Indiana Jones of like the 90s.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
else comes so
No.
close
Yeah,
to
I
Indiana
think that's
Jones'
fair.
greatness as the Mummy.
No, I can't think of anything. It's that kind of like action adventure romp
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of
And
thing.
it's like
They
family
weren't-
friendly.
Bit of
Yeah.
romance, a great
Yeah.
over-the-top villain,
Yeah.
driving around in jeeps or camels or
Yeah.
whatever.
In a way, it was almost kind of. I can't think of other movies that were doing that in the 90s because things had got a bit serious
Yep.
in the 90s in terms of action movies. I mean,
Yeah.
particularly,
Yeah.
this would have been up against The Matrix.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, yeah, of course.
So maybe that's why
Yeah.
I wasn't so fussed because I'd seen The
Just weren't as
Matrix and like
excited.
that's the future.
It's not going to be
That's-
as good as The Matrix, is it?
Yeah, so like, maybe that's coloured my judgment if I
And
didn't
it's-
because I would have
Yeah,
seen
maybe.
that first.
I think it almost is as good as The Matrix. I think it
No, I
comes
don't think
pretty
so.
close to touching the sun there.
They're so different.
But
They
they are
are.
very different.
Yeah.
Yes. But they're
Such different films.
yeah.
I mean, for me, I loved this movie when I first saw it, and I've kind of always continued to love it. Like if it's on and I'm flicking through TV or
Oh,
something,
you keep the Mummy.
definitely keep the Mummy on.
See,
You know?
I kind of feel like it might be this might be one of those films that how you see it and how you watch it is just as important as the content of the film. There are some movies that I'm convinced that one day you could sit and watch it in a certain context and hate it. But if you'd been in a different setting, you would absolutely love it.
Well,
It's
a lot
a big
of people
screen
said
movie.
that.
There's no
Yeah.
doubt there.
Yeah, so I
But
wonder
people
whether
have big screens at home now, so
yeah, but I mean, I would have seen this in the 90s on a 24-inch screen probably. So like,
yeah.
you know, I don't think it's like maybe the experience of how you see it also
wasn't quite there for
informs
you.
exactly. Yeah, so if you guys did both see it in the cinema, it's much more of an experience. It's
And the
much more
first time you-
bombastic and
Yeah.
it's much more impressive and kind of you get kind of really sucked into it. Whereas, I might have been sitting there arguing with my mates over packets of crisps and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the first time you see a film, it does colour every sufficient viewing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was kind of only okay for you, Tom, but I'm gonna start with you. Do you have like a favourite moment of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, there are things I like about it, and
Okay.
I don't think it's bad. I don't think and it just is. It's all right. I'm trying to think what I would think of as my favourite bits. Actually, thinking about it, the things that stood out to me watching it this time around that I thought actually that's pretty good was the visual effects.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at how well a lot of them held up. There was a few that were a bit clunky, but
Fully decomposed Imhotep
yeah.
didn't look great.
No,
But everything
but
else pretty much did.
I would argue the reason that doesn't quite look great, not because of the model / like the CGI part of it. it's the compositing of it that I
Yeah.
think it stands out a bit.
The
To me. There's a bit of an
lighting.
edge
Yeah.
on it and stuff. And I think that's not quite sitting in its environment properly, which is why it doesn't look quite great.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other elements of it, like the fight at the very end between Rick and all of the skeletons. It's basically his Jason and the Argonauts moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
It looks good.
Yeah.
He looks good,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that this was intended to be an Indiana Jones meets Jason and the Argonauts. That was the pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
could
kind
have-
of meets that.
Could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what I think it was. Stephen Sommers. That was his angle,
Yeah.
because apparently 2 other filmmakers were trying to get this made in the 90s.
Yeah, they went on a bit of a journey with
Yeah.
Universal trying to get this made.
Yeah, George A. Romero wanted to essentially do a zombie version,
Right.
and Joe Dante wanted to do one,
Oh.
which I kind of want to see.
I think we've got the best version of this film.
I don't know. I think Joe Dante's done some great movies. He was making some brilliant movies in the 90s as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, there were quite a few versions of this. But, yeah, I think all of that holds up really well.
Okay.
There's some good stuff. I know when we watched Stargate,
Yeah.
one of my problems with it was that the characters seemed quite kind of generic and stereotypical,
Yeah.
which I kind of feel like in this they very much are as well,
Yeah.
but much more engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They bring you into the story
Yeah.
in a much better way. They side you with the people, They make you want to be kind of on Rick's side.
Yeah.
They make
Yeah.
you want to be on Evelyn's side.
We've got
Yeah.
some actors who are all up and coming. Brendan Fraser
Yeah.
was the biggest star of this movie, and he
Yeah.
hadn't done an action movie before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was a role that a lot of people wanted. Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
was up for this role.
Wow. I don't know that.
So it really helps. I'm sure the difference between Stargate and The Mummy is that you've got a cast that actually want to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they're putting a lot of effort into making these roles enjoyable.
yeah,
Yeah. I really, I mean, favourite moments aside, I think that acting is pretty good in this. They're all likeable characters. They don't really go on a journey
No,
in terms of character development.
The
but-
one I'm not so keen on is Jonathan, the brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
love John Hannah.
I'm not sure John Hannah has a place here.
I think John Hannah, he can be an absolutely great actor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the way that Jonathan is written, and it doesn't quite meld. And when I was watching it, I kept thinking to myself, the character and person that I see being that role that makes him the bit of the sort of douchebag that he is, but likable kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
I'd love to see like Hugh Laurie's Bertie Wooster
Oh, okay.
as that character, because he's a bit more of a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just kind of put in a bit of, I don't know. He always is out for himself, but there needs to be a bit more bumbling in it, and it needs to be slightly less kind of, just him always looking for the way to get the gold and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They need a bit more to that.
Yeah.
So he's the only character that I kind of feel didn't quite gel for me.
Yeah.
But all the others, I think, like you say, they draw you in. The guy who plays Imhotep is great.
Oh,
Arnold
yeah.
Vosloo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is great.
Who puts a really nice spin on this character. It was his idea, Arnold Vosloo's idea, to make Imhotep play the role completely straight. He said because for him, the story's Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was, it's a very, it's
Yeah.
a dire need.
Yeah, because, his storyline is, that's the story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
essentially, the other people are kind of interlopers into
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
if you like.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are 100% the bad guys
Yeah.
to his story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was almost easy to get behind him because of his origin. He was done dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam, do you have like specific favourite moments?
Mm.
I have specific favourite moments, but there are many.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I do have a very specific favourite moment.
Ooh,
Okay.
And I can remember this being my favourite thing about the film when I first saw it. And it's the moment when they first go into the tomb and they use the mirrors to light the room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I just thought that looked really great, and I just thought it was such a good idea, and it was
It's
like
clever,
it was
isn't
a
it?
clever concept, and it was just I really like that.
Yeah.
And the way they used that at the end as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it kind of comes back, and in like when the mirror crushes.
Yeah.
When you see that
Yeah.
mirror crushing,
Oh, that's just
lights
just
are out.
awful.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was something I really liked about it.
just not worth thinking about.
Speaking of, my favourite parts, any time that Rick's talking to Benny, the dialogue just flies.
Right.
They're both amazing in these roles where they're bickering with each other. Benny's such a great slime ball.
He is good.
He's perfect.
He's fantastic. So many great moments in this. Again, I think Brendan Fraser, he really delivers his script really nicely. The American guy with the glasses who loses parts of himself as the film goes on haunts me. Like, this is an action comedy.
Yeah.
But when he loses his eyes and his tongue, and then you see him later in what I assume is maybe like a Cairo hotel room, talking to someone he believes to be of Egyptian royalty, and then
and he knocks his tea over because he just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Benny starts to say, he thanks you for your service, and he thanks you for
Hospitality,
your eyes and your tongue,
it's just-
and then
it's
the
awful.
camera just reveals that he's sitting opposite Imhotep.
Yeah.
Wow, my stomach drops. It's a great moment. Later, all the way at the end of the movie, when Benny gets his comeuppance,
Yeah.
and the tomb starts to seal, the light goes away.
The
And you're
Beatles
like,
arrive.
he doesn't deserve this. He just doesn't deserve this. I mean, he's a dick, but that's
nasty.
That's a bad way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. I think when I was trying to think about one specific moment, I kind of couldn't. I was sort of listing like bits
Yeah.
that I really enjoyed, and similarly, the fight at the end with the mummies, multiple. I think for me, I remember watching it in the cinema and thinking when the first time that Evelyn sees the mummy
Yeah.
and she comes across the American guy and
Yes.
he's just on the floor, and
Yeah.
like the fear on her face, and oh my goodness, because she says specifically before that, I don't believe in anything unless I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there it is. And that, for me, there were just so many little snippets of moments.
I guess imagine audiences of the 50s would have had the reaction that you had to Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because
And-
for me, I hadn't really seen stuff like that
Yeah.
before, I don't think.
And what a great scene that is, because she sees the mummy and the mummy steps towards her and the mummy starts trying to talk to her, and Rick shows up and the mummy roars at Rick and Rick roars back
Yep.
and shoots him with a shotgun.
Yeah, and he's like, don't worry, I got him.
Great.
We're fine, we're done. Movie's over. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, his go-to thing is just shoot something.
Yeah.
Like when he
Absolutely.
gets the scarab beetle out of John Hannah, he flicks it across the room.
Yeah.
Then just shoots it.
Shoots it.
Just like
He spends a
Naturally.
lot of bullets.
He does.
And
Yeah.
one of my pet peeves with the film is during the opening scene, he's fighting with the French Foreign Legion
yeah.
against the Magi, and it's clear he has limited ammunition. You're shown that he's worrying about how much ammunition he has.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of guns, but not a whole lot of bullets. But he's not double tapping people. He is shooting 4 bullets into every one man.
Yeah.
It's like, guy, come on. You've got a shot at making out of this if you stop wasting your ammunition like that. He loves shooting things.
He really
is
does.
American AF.
Yes, absolutely, in this movie. We've talked a little bit about characters and stuff, but do you have favourite character in this movie, Tom?
Benny.
I think Benny is a good character, and he's very well played. And again, I think Imhotep is good and well played.
Yeah.
But I guess your favourite character, it kind of has to be Rick.
He's awesome.
He's pretty great.
He does have that kind of anti-hero vibe,
Yeah.
and Yeah, I'd say Rick.
He's swashbuckling, isn't he?
Exactly.
He
Yeah,
is.
that's exactly what they were looking for. Like
Yeah.
if you read some of the trivia and stuff, they wanted to make this. They watched George of the Jungle and thought this guy could be Errol Flynn,
Yeah.
and then that's how he got the part.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Adam, how about you?
My favourite character. It's got to be Rick. I think it has to be Rick. That being said, again, I thought Rick and Benny played off each other really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rick. I love Rick. I want to be Rick.
I think for me, it's Rick. I mean, I love Evelyn. She's great.
This isn't to take anything away from any of the characters, by the way. There are
No,
a
not at
lot
all.
of really great characters. in
Yeah.
this. Hell, even Ardith Bay's good.
I
Yeah.
just think it's great.
Even
Yeah.
Ardith Bay's good.
I've got, like you say, lots of the performances I think are really, really good, and it's just really watchable. It's together, especially between I think like Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, their on-screen chemistry is fun. Like
I think Brendan Fraser's very good at chemistry in general. Thinking about the films he's in, George of the Jungle, his chemistry with Leslie Mann was pretty phenomenal. I think he just has it.
Yeah, I
Or
think he's
had
one.
it.
He's one of those people that kind of he can easily come across as likable.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's easy to believe that people like him on screen.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. So I don't normally ask this, mainly because it's not always appropriate. Favorite deaths?
Favorite deaths?
Yeah, I just think it's quite.
Ooh.
Omid
quite
Jalili's is
interesting.
good.
Omid Jalili's is great. Omid Jalili's might be the best death.
You reckon?
Yeah. I just want to go back to, because we kind of left it, but I do want to go back to the point where I said that it's easy to see that Rick is likable, and as a result,
Yeah.
Rick is likable, and as a result, it's easy to believe that people like Rick. Mm-hmm. But also, it helps because the romance between Rick and Evie does move forward at quite a pace,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's believable because he's so charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
got-
because she's
The only
quite,
thing I find hard to believe is the fact that he likes her.
well, she's quite bold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that time, when she's
She's
when
quite
the-
bolshy.
Yeah.
I know,
She's got,
but I
she's got
think-
gumption.
I
She
think
does.
it's
She has gumption. Quite the holiday at me.
what is good about it though. It doesn't get in the way of the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, there's no moment where they're fighting for their death 1 second,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden there's a pause, a bit of romantic dialogue, a kiss, and then back to the action. They don't bother with that because there's no time for them to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because that quite often action movies like this, they have that moment, and it's trying to cement that relationship.
Yeah.
But they don't need to do that because, like you say, they've seeded it quite well throughout
Yeah.
the earlier parts of the film, and then it means the action can be the action, and everyone's fighting for their lives, and they're all doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Favorite death.
Favorite death.
I'm going to
Yeah.
stick with Omid Jalili's, I think.
Omid Jalili's. Just the way he just drops down dead in front of them is brilliant.
Yeah. And it's kind of before anything really has gotten that bad.
Yeah, well, he's
yeah.
he's
That's
he's the first death of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's the moment when you go, oh, they've kicked something off here,
Yeah.
and it's got there's a cost to it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think for me it's probably Benny's.
Benny's death is...
It's just awful.
A lot of these deaths, I mean, the thing about them is they seem cruel.
Yeah, because also because he's so nearly there, getting through with
And he
Rick and
decides to
Evie
give
and
up his
Jonathan.
treasure.
Yeah.
Well, he just. I'm like, I don't know if I'd have kept going to get back. You know, when the second ceiling, is coming down, and then he manages to make it into the main body of the chamber.
Yeah.
It's like, but the same thing's going to happen there, and it's just going to take even longer.
He may not necessarily. Plus,
Oh, it's awful.
it's death either way for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's just, and when his
He might as well
torch
be in
goes
as big a
out,
room as possible.
Yeah, you might as well be in a room that has like stuff
more-
in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Oh, and it's the realization that the beetles are there,
And his torch,
and his torch
starts
goes
to
out,
fade.
so the oxygen's going. Oh, it's just the knowing that it's coming.
the inevitability of it is terrifying.
Yeah.
I seem to remember the big thing at the time was the CGI scarab beetles. Like
Yes.
it was
Okay.
the first time people had made a consistent swarm of something,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that it look and feel real.
The scarab beetles are scary.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's one of the best effects in the movie. Is just like you just hear the
Yeah.
noise, and then it's hundreds of thousands,
Yeah.
and they feel like hundreds of thousands individuals as opposed to
Yeah.
like a singular effect.
Well, like you say, because when Rick flicks the beetle out of Jonathan's arm and
Yeah.
then shoots it, it's the personality that they give it. When it flicks away, and then I think it's on its back, and it like jumps up.
Yeah, and it kind of shakes itself
shakes
off
itself,
and
then
turns around.
and it's like, no, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And it's the personality of it that then, like you say, because it really feels like
Yeah.
individual
Yeah,
beetles.
And the way they kill people by going into
Inside,
like
yeah.
inside them towards their brain and
I mean,
then
that's just grim, isn't it?
eating their brain.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's such a
It's-
cool way of whoever thought of that. We could have these scarab beetles that
Yeah.
go inside people and eat their brain.
yeah,
Really, really clever
yeah.
idea. Maybe for me, just to be different, I think my favourite death is going to be the glasses guy. You know for a fact, sorry, his name's Mr. Burns.
Right.
Right.
You know, he gets his glasses trodden on whilst they're
Yeah.
in the tomb.
Oh, it's
and
just-
then it's at that point you
the
know that,
sound
hold
of
on,
him.
oh, God.
Yeah.
This because he was a really nice
He was.
guy,
He was a nice guy.
going up to that point. His glasses get smashed and he looks horrified at them. And then you know, oh, things are about to get really, really bad for him.
Yep.
And then the
And they
mummy
do.
comes,
Yeah.
takes his eyes, takes his tongue. And everyone's devastated by what's happened to him. And, oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, it's gruesome.
It is quite gruesome.
He more than anyone else really gets put through the ringer in the mummy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He seems to pay the most before he dies.
He's
as it
the
were.
plot
He
punching
does.
bag.
Yes.
Okay, so there's obviously a lot to like about this movie.
Loads to like about
Loads
this
to
movie.
like. What is there not to like? Adam, I'm going to come to you first because you like this movie.
I love this movie.
What's odd? What doesn't work?
Okay, so Imhotep gets given what is one of the best curses ever. Imhotep is cursed with conditional immortality, which is the kind of immortality you want, by the way.
Yes.
You will live forever, but if you want to die, just read from this book.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So good. This language that you can speak and no one else can speak
Yeah.
alive. Great, great curse. I want that curse.
Oh,
That's a brilliant curse.
buried alive? No.
Well, the buried alive part is a problem. But how about the fact that they bury him alive and then they make him immortal and they bury him alive, but it's such a lame curse they have to, they have to develop like a secret order of Egyptian people just to like prevent people from waking him up. Just kill the dude.
well, yeah, just don't do the curse.
Just don't do the curse.
But they want him to have eternal torment. He's given immortality, but then put in a box with bugs that are going to eat him.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, that's a really, really bad time.
So they're eating him, and he's regenerating. They're eating him, he's regenerating. So he's gets stuck in this state of decomposition, and that's the idea.
That's a really bad curse. Fair enough, true
Yeah.
enough. Although you'd have thought if it was within the Egyptians' power to make people immortal in general, there'd be a lot of long-lived pharaohs, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, that's true. There's always a way around it, though.
Yeah.
Always a way around
Always.
it.
But so you've pointed out the fact that they've buried him alive with these scarab beetles that
Yeah.
are going to eat him, and man, those beetles, I'm so glad they don't exist because they suck.
Well, scarab beetles
Brains.
exist, but they don't exist.
They don't exist
Quite-
like
not
that.
quite like that.
No.
I think Rachel Weisz is better than the role they give her initially. The bumbling librarian.
Okay. Yep.
I'm not a big fan of that scene because they introduce her as bumbling as hell, and then she proceeds to not be for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
That comedy moment of her on the ladder knocking the shelves down.
It's out of character.
It is, and it also doesn't sit quite in the film because there's
Yeah.
not much slapstick in the film, really.
No.
It's John Hannah.
There are
Yeah.
little bits,
Yeah.
but not to that extent. That's a huge gag.
Yeah.
And it's a really bold gag.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
I guess the only thing that it contributes to is her not being allowed into the Bembridge Scholars. Is that right?
Yeah, I think
Maybe it's adding credit to the fact that she's not being
Could have done with some
looked at.
explanations as to what the Bembridge Scholars were, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she refers to them a lot.
She does.
I think they are trying to set up a character trait, but then it is one that she overcomes very early on.
Yeah, exactly.
And they spend
It's
too much
straight
time
away.
setting that up.
Yeah.
And I think they should have gone down the route of the reason she isn't the character she becomes is because she's not allowed to be, not because she isn't and then
isn't
becomes it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it should have been she's being repressed probably because she's a woman, not because she's not
if they'd
brilliant
have had
or
a scene where she sort of said, even, because her boss, if they'd have had a scene where she says, oh, she's just stood in the librry and she's putting books away and she said, wouldn't it make more sense to categorise this like this?
Exactly.
And he'd have said, no.
Oh, women would, trust a woman to come up with that kind
idea.
of system.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would have been
And then he goes
better.
off, then she's talking to herself, being like, oh, God, that's ridiculous. Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
But
Then
you do
she
need-
hears something and goes out and meets Jonathan and,
But you do need the point where she explains to her boss that she's the only person alive who can read 17 different kinds of ancient Egyptian.
Yeah.
That's useful because that explains it later on. However, her ability to read several different kinds of ancient Egyptian is really what gets us into trouble in the first place.
Yes.
That
It is.
coupled with
I
her
mean-
inability to read inside her own head.
I was going to say, if there's one thing I know about ancient books, never read them
just
aloud.
don't read it out
Never
loud.
read anything aloud that it hasn't been in it's post Gothenburg press.
It's just a bit douchey.
Yeah.
Really? She's showing off. She's
Well,
showing off
that's
to the
true,
guy
yeah.
she wants
doesn't
to.
need to do it, does she?
Yeah.
No need.
There's no it's not like Rick's going to understand the ancient Egyptian that she's reading.
And she's not even reading it to anyone, even if they could understand it. She's
Exactly.
literally just reading out loud for fun.
Yeah.
And who does that?
Well, so that's all the problems I have with the Mummy,
Okay.
which are very few
They are, yeah. Amazing. Okay, Tom.
for me.
I think early on a lot of the dialogue is a little bit clunky and expositional, which they a bit like Stargate.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
They've got to set up
Yeah.
all of the ancient history. They've got to set up a lot of stuff, and that can always be difficult. And hiding expositional dialogue is one of the hardest things to do in screenwriting, and to make it feel natural. And and this does get slightly clunky sometimes, I think,
Okay.
and to the detriment of the characters. So you're starting to get these engaging characters, but then they have to relay this information in a very specific way, and but then it's an action movie. You've got to get it done, and there are only so.
And they
so
do
many
get it done
original-
quite quickly. Like it's
It's an action
Pace-wise,
movie
it's
set in a
pretty good.
fantasy world, and that's always going to be difficult to
Yeah.
do without having to explain a lot of ground rules.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I mean, there are some movies you can do it by showing,
Yeah.
but I guess this.
Yeah. When the film first started, I'd completely forgotten really that Ardith Bay narrates
Yes.
Yeah.
the opening section.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that struck me was that he talks about Imhotep sort of compassionately.
Yeah.
And then I read that the original intention behind that sequence is that Arnold Vosloo would read that, and then they realised he probably wouldn't know English
Yeah.
and had to get Ardith Bay to
Oh,
instead.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know how
that's-
much of that they changed, but he doesn't speak about. Given that it's his job to keep this man tortured for all eternity, he kind of speaks about it sort of.
Yeah.
He doesn't
matter of fact.
condemn him in this narration for what
No.
he's done.
Yeah.
They loved each other, and the only thing that would keep them apart was the tyrannical pharaoh.
Yeah. And the only one that could save.
It actually positions
her.
him not as a guard, but as a guardian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's a protector. He's not a guard. He's not someone who's he's not trying to stop him escaping. He's trying to stop the world from getting to him in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that doesn't work particularly for you, Tom?
No, I don't think so. Like I say, I think it's I don't, like I said, I don't think there's a lot that I would dislike about it or actively hate or kind of like it's just it is what it is and it does a job kind of thing. It's, I kind of I think it works, but it doesn't blow me away.
That's fair enough. I think for me, trying to look at it objectively, thinking of kind of the characters, it was kind of a lack of character development. Like they don't really learn anything or overcome.
I don't want them to.
Personal. No, but that's the thing. You don't really need them to because it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Like you're happy. It's really enjoyable to just watch as a movie. You don't need them to do that.
Yeah. Rick is exactly the same person at the beginning and at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Except
change
he's found
at all.
love outside of the Egyptian prostitute circle.
I mean, you don't know. This thing is with Rick is you don't know that for definite because he's a bit of a chancer.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
he left with some gold too.
Exactly. So but he doesn't know it's there.
Yeah,
that's also true.
Yeah.
But he's sort of kind of famous when The Mummy Returns happens. He's a bit, he's rich and famous.
He's
right.
He's
I
very
can't
rich.
remember it.
Yeah.
They're
Well, she's done exceptionally well in her
academic
field
circles.
and
and
in
he's a
academia.
treasure hunter.
He's a treasure hunter, right?
Yeah, and they both go off on
There's
adventures.
an animated
and...
series about this.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I saw.
Really? Have you not
I saw
seen
that?
that?
No.
It's right up your alley.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Rick and Evie, and they've got a son now who's they have a son in 2.
Yeah, in 2.
Right.
But he's a little older,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, I read it.
they go on
in,
adventures, and it's sort of like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing, where the mother and the father go on adventures, and they bring the son with them, and then the mother and the father disappear for the entire episode, and it's the son who's like, "Oh, what's this? Oh no, I found the mummy!" And he goes running from him, and it all sort of unravels.
Yeah, there's been a lot of. Let's address that. There's a lot of. Wow, Mummy Returns, Scorpion King.
The Mummy 3,
Mummy
Tomb
3.
of the Dragon Emperor?
Yeah,
Then the
something
Mummy
like that.
remake with Tom Cruise.
Should they have got? Do you think maybe the cruise one? Perhaps if I haven't seen it, I don't know if
No, I
if the
haven't.
tone is right, but if it's slightly a bit too serious, if they need this kind of slightly more, the original Universal monster movies. My favourite one by hands down is The Invisible Man.
Right.
Have
Okay.
either of you seen that?
No.
Okay. I'm going to have a look and see when that came out.
Can I mention another one of my favourite moments in The Mummy?
Yes, absolutely.
Because
go for it.
because we're just talking about the fact that the Mummy sort of makes it a little bit funnier and sort of plays on the absurdity to it slightly, not enough to make the threat not legitimate.
Yeah.
The part when Brendan Fraser walks in and goes, "And I've got a cat," and the cat snarls at the Mummy, and the Mummy freaks out and runs away.
But that's because
That's a great moment.
yeah,
It is
it's
good.
Because
great.
Egyptians,
But from that
worship
moment on,
cats.
would you not just strap a cat to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would.
I'd have like 5 cats in
yeah,
bags
you'd have
the
like cat
whole
body
time.
arm. But
Yeah.
you want 5 cats in bags at any point anyway.
I'm allergic, but I'd still have a cat strapped to me.
Well, it's sort of like, why did no one in Buffy ever just wear a metal collar?
Oh, that's inspired.
very
yes.
true, yeah.
There are lots of, having some kind of cat ballistic vest would have paid off in spades.
Yeah, very much so.
But it was funny when he did it.
Yes,
That's
yeah, it's a
important.
good moment. Yeah, yeah. One thing I really did like about this is the cinematography and the way it looks,
Okay.
Yeah.
because I think it's shot really well.
So
They
that's what I asked
reconstruct
you,
things
like-
in Egypt really nicely,
Yeah.
and it holds up.
And
Because it was filmed in Morocco, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
They couldn't do it in Egypt.
Yeah.
yeah, it was too politically unstable. But I think it looks really good, particularly all the stuff in the tombs and things like that.
Yeah.
So I had to look to see who the cinematographer was, because that kind of always intrigues me.
Uh-huh.
And there's a guy called Adrian Biddle, who quite sadly died when he was only like in his early 50s,
Oh, God.
which was
that's
like
sad.
I think 2005 or something like that. But
What's he done?
first movie he was cinematographer on, Alien.
What?
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's strong out the gate, right?
Wow. Okay.
Second-
There's a lot of
second
natural
movie.
talent on this guy.
Second movie, Princess Bride.
Oh.
Could you imagine going from Alien to The Princess Bride?
Wow.
What are the odds
mean,
that I
no.
love every
Yeah.
single Adrian Biddle movie?
I don't think you will. Willow,
Oh,
which
Yeah,
but
okay.
then that's not my cup of tea.
yeah,
So.
but you see why I was hired for it.
Thelma
Yeah.
and Louise,
Okay.
Okay.
Event Horizon. Have you ever
Not
seen
seen
Event
that.
Horizon?
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like Event Horizon.
Yeah, and his last movie was V for Vendetta.
Oh, I've not seen that.
And that's a Welsh. That's a good-looking movie.
If anything, that's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, when I was looking at
V for Vendetta.
No,
Oh, you might
I
like
need
that.
to watch
You
that.
might
I think
like
I
that,
would like it. Yeah.
So I was quite sad that he died so young, and because
that
it
is
was
sad.
obvious that he had a real
talent.
talent
Bridget
and a real
Jones,
look.
The Edge
and-
of Reason.
yeah, I omitted that one.
Oh. Rain of Fire. Oh, some of these, you know exactly why he was hired for them.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not his fault that they're terrible.
No, but I mean, just anyone who can do Alien and then Princess Bride back to back. I mean, that's
True
Well,
though.
he did The World Is Not Enough.
oh yeah, that's I did write that one down as well. Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
So this
did
is
a
kind of
Bond.
in the vein of like what holds up, what's good. So that's one of the things that you really rate on
Yeah,
this movie.
I was really shocked at how well the visual effects held up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this felt like a modern movie.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't feel dated at all. And again, I think it's a period film, so I think that always helps when it comes to
Absolutely,
dating.
yeah.
They didn't use any, with the exception of introducing some CGI, they didn't use anything that's very of its time. So, like, for example, with The Matrix, bullet time, that's
Yeah.
the thing of its time.
Yeah.
It's a point in time when that was a thing, and can potentially date it because it's not an effect that's used much or in the same way.
Yeah.
Whereas this didn't. It was tried and tested action techniques,
yeah.
good old fashioned kind of action choreography.
Yeah.
And and the it's down to people like Adrian Biddle and the cinematography that the CGI meshes and all the visual effects guy it holds together really well. So I think from that perspective it does hold up, and it does hold up as just an action romp.
Yeah.
And it's I think if you're in the mood for that sort of thing and you've got the right environment to watch it in, you'll probably love it.
Yeah, for me, I think that was one of the things that I really noted was the kind of Imhotep's regeneration process, and
Yes.
how you can actually see almost the stages of the effects and
Yeah.
Yeah.
how they develop. Like,
It
I
would
really
have been
enjoyed that.
so easy for them to go decomposed her, brand new,
Yeah,
quickly to avoid just having that, those moments where he's just got part of his face. Is,
oh, and the bit when
and it's
the
like,
scarab beetle goes in.
Yeah.
I was going
and
to
he
say,
just
it goes
eats
crawls
it.
to his chin and he crunches
Oh
down
my
on it.
goodness.
yeah,
A
yeah.
bit of revenge for him. there.
So yeah, I think it's surprising how well it holds up from that point of view, from the sort of technical point of view and stuff like that. So yeah, it holds up definitely.
Amazing. Adam, how about you? What still holds up? What do you still
It all
really
holds up.
like? Yeah.
Honestly, it all, apart from the decomposing mummy, but fine. It all holds up. It feels, I agree with Tom, it feels like a modern film.
Yeah.
If I were to make this today, I wouldn't be able to believe it. I'd be very proud of it.
I would argue that if you made it today, there's a stronger chance in another 20 years
It would have dated more.
the newer version looking more dated.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because I think there'd be more chance of reliance on visual effects.
Yeah.
So there'd be stuff that for example, the ancient Egypt sets, a lot of that would probably be green screen and CGI,
Yeah.
as opposed to a built set. And so I think there's you can have too much of a good thing.
yeah.
CGI is always at its best when it's used to augment rather than replace.
Yeah. And I think kind of one of the things, I know we talked last week that we talk about Rachel Weisz's brows. And I think the fact that it's a period drama,
Yeah.
they're right for the 20s. It's there's so much detail in the film, to the level of, no, the lead actress has to have the right brows for the 20s. I think for me there was a lot that absolutely still held up. So generally speaking, we're fans. Tom's meh.
Yeah, I think it's
But-
all right. Like I say, I wouldn't
You wouldn't put it. Would you ever put it on?
own it. I don't
Okay.
think.
How many of the Mummy and Mummy-related in that universe films do you think there are?
4 or 5, maybe.
There are 7.
Are there
Wow.
really that many?
3 of the Mummy films, 4 Scorpion King movies.
Jesus,
my
I didn't realize
goodness.
I made that many.
Yeah.
I know.
One of my mates is in the 4th one, actually.
the Scorpion King was a massive risk. And
In the Mummy Returns, or the
no,
actual
the
movie they did of
actual
it?
spin-off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And putting The Rock front and centre, that made him that movie.
Yeah.
Like
I've
that
not seen that,
chance.
Especially considering
I
that
haven't seen it either.
The Scorpion King special effect in 2 was
it's
bad.
not good.
That's the most dated thing about the entire franchise. The
I can
Scorpion
imagine.
King looks a lot worse than Imhotep does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a much more complicated thing.
If you think
Absolutely.
about I know obviously we're not talking about the second film, but in The Mummy Returns, which you have seen, Tom, right?
I saw it in the cinema, yeah.
I feel really sad for Imhotep. I'm just putting that out there.
I can't really remember it. There's only one moment I can remember in that film, and that is the homage to Doctor Strangelove, where those little goblin-y mummy things. Do you know there's the little ones,
the little
The pygmies.
Pygmy things,
and then they go over the log,
Yeah.
and the last one's on it, and it falls, and he straddles it and pretends to wave his hat about like the guy riding the bomb at the end of Doctor Strangelove. That's the only thing I remember about the Mummy Returns.
Well, I felt really sad because obviously in that film he Anax in a Moon, he brings her soul back.
Yeah.
Because she's I guess, I don't know. Well, she looks exactly the same it's the same actress as in the first movie, but she doesn't have all the memories. It's not the soul of Anax in a Moon, but she has some memories.
Right.
And then they bring him back. He reinsouls the original Anax in a Moon to the body of the new person. And basically, right at the end, when Rick and Imhotep are like trying to climb out of falling into, I think, hell,
Yeah.
Evelyn runs through like all the falling rocks and everything and actually comes and saves Rick. But Anax in a Moon won't run.
Oh, I remember that.
She won't
Yeah.
run to come and
She's too
save him.
scared.
She's too scared to die. So
Right.
she runs and leaves him.
Right.
And then he lets go and falls into
wow.
hell because he like admits that
He's a
that their
tragic
love,
character.
He is a really
He's a
tragic
really-
character.
yeah.
Because
He is in this
essentially
one.
he loved the wrong person. He fell in love with the wrong person. He made some bad choices, got caught, and got tortured for eternity.
It's sad.
It is sad.
He's a love fool.
He is. And on that note, is
That note.
there anything else we want to chat about for The Mummy?
What's your favourite quote from The Mummy, Sophie?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I kind of love Jonathan's line at the end of the film, actually, when Ardith put his hand on his shoulder and scared them all, and then he rides off and he's like, "And you're just leaving us here with nothing in the middle of the desert." I quite like that.
Tom?
I couldn't think of one.
What?
I've maybe seen this film like twice.
A couple of Benny quotes for you
Yeah.
when he's being threatened by Rick on the boat, and Benny's like, "No, think of my children." And Rick's like, "You don't have children." And he goes, "I might do someday." or the one we did earlier today.
Oh yes, okay.
Hey O'Connell, looks like I've got all the horses.
Hey Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out. Looks like. Sorry. Yeah.
It's
it's a great film.
great.
I enjoyed it a lot.
all right.
So,
The Mummy, 10 out of 10. Agreed.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
It's
Okay.
unanimous.
I'd say 7.
Rounding it up, it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say 8.5, 9.
8.5, 9.
Yeah.
You like this film more than I do. And to me, this is a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, okay, 9. 9, solid 9.
That's all right.
It's all right.
It's a hard 9.
Well,
Watch
next.
this film if you love comedy adventures.
Yes, it's exactly.
Well, it's scary.
Action.
I'd recommend.
Family action.
I would recommend that anyone watch this film.
I think you'd be hard pressed to not
Can you
enjoy
think of
it.
a reason to not watch this film, Tom?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh,
Sure, but if you've
Okay,
seen
fair.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I mean, if you haven't seen an Indiana Jones film, dear listeners, go do that.
oh yeah.
But then you can watch The Mummy. You'll see a
Yeah.
lot. You'll probably see a lot of homage in it.
Yeah. Definitely
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Definitely is.
That's there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What we got next week?
Next week, because it's Valentine's Day, everyone.
Aww.
Aww. We're going to be talking about The Notebook.
And we're going to be talking about Tom's top 10 favourite notebook smooches.
Are there 10 smooches in the Notebook?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
dear.
probably, yeah.
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 Like, this is from the Nicholas Sparks white people embracing oeuvre, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. In the rain.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, in the rain.
Yeah, that. Yeah, no, I
Naturally.
have, yeah, this is probably like if I was in if it was 10, 12 years ago and I was in Blockbuster, this would be the movie that I would walk right past.
I mean, you did.
And I did. Many a time.
You walked past it. I rented it.
Yeah, you rented it way more than I would have thought.
I rented it like
anyone
100
You
times.
did.
Wow.
I didn't.
I mean,
did.
I think he
absolutely
actually did. I think he
times.
did.
It was that and
Check his
Garden.
Blockbuster membership
Garden
card.
State. Garden State is a great movie.
That and Garden State.
Love the soundtrack on that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Garden State's
and
great
500 Days of Summer. That was the other one.
Good soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Those three movies.
That's all
I like romantic films.
Yeah, he does.
Fair enough. Well, we'll hear all about how much Adam likes romantic films next week. So
But the
do
Notebook.
listen. Question mark.
Question mark on the Notebook.
Okay.
Let's talk about that next week.
How exciting. So thank you ever so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
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 This podcast was recorded in the Upbeat Studio in Soho. For studio inquiries, drop us an email on studio@upbeatproductions.com. You can also find us on Twitter. Head to @upbeatprod to see what we're up to, and @upbeat_ents for our film coverage and entertainment news.